Greetings, movie fans. Welcome to the Big Reviewski. My name is Eoghan Doherty, and I am honoured and privileged to be joined. Don't laugh about it. I've been honoured and privileged to be joined by two of Hollywood's hottest screenwriting talents. They're fresh off their latest version of The Meg 2, but they have decided to join us. It's Paul Moore and Rory Cashin. Thanks, guys. Thanks, guys, for coming in.
Literally read my mind. My first thing I was going to say to that camera was, we've got a Megment. We do have a Megment.
We do have a Megment this week. Yeah. How is the Meg 2 Electric Megaloo coming along?
So far, so Meg.
So, okay.
Very much like the first film then, yeah.
But why were we actually going to have a Megment this week?
Lorenzo Di Ventura. Very Italian-sounding name, gentleman.
Yeah, and rich.
Yeah.
Very rich.
Who produced the first film, and we're not going to talk about that one because the second one's going to be everything that wasn't. Because Statham will punch the damn shark.
Hopefully.
We will see blood.
Yeah.
And I don't think
if he doesn't get swallowed by the shark and have to somehow fight his way out
of the shark, oh, that would
That's
be great.
good. That's a whole other adventure inside the Meg.
Yeah, it's like Jonah and the whale.
Moby Weg.
Deep, man. Biblical.
Right.
Like
and his name in the Meg was Jonas. It was right there.
If you're excited about the Meg 2,
are you not?
No, I am.
Did you see the first one?
The first one was great.
Did you see it?
Yeah.
All right.
I did see it, yeah. I remember seeing it
In a cinema.
sitting up the back of a cinema.
In an Omniplex?
An Omniplex, of course, obviously. The best back seats in Ireland.
Oi.
But yeah, no, I know it was disappointing that Jason Statham didn't fight the shark at the time properly.
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping the second one would be a bit of a love story, like a forbidden love between Jason Statham and the Meg.
Like The Shape of Water.
Yeah. Look at the shape of that water. What are they doing?
See that film.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not against that idea.
The Meg 3. If you're particularly excited about the Meg 2 or the Meg 3, The Shape of Water, you can tweet us at Big Reviewski, or you can get in touch on the Joe Instagram. And I always forget to ask people, please subscribe to the show as well. That sounded quite beggy and desperate. You can.
Such a white break tradition.
Please subscribe to the show. You can if you like. Tell your friends, both of them. That's fine. That this is happening. We do have a knockout show for you this week.
Nice.
That's a good setup.
That's good,
isn't it?
That's a good segue.
Because we have an unbelievable prize to give away. Last week we were giving away the signed poster for Captain Marvel. This week, signed posters, they're all the rage. We have a signed poster for Creed 2, signed by Dolph Lundgren, Tessa Thompson, who's another star in the MCU, and the man himself, the biggest star of the Rocky franchise, Michael B. Jordan.
See, do you remember last week Rory had to wrestle the Brie Larson poster from his hands?
Yes.
This would be like that for me now.
Okay.
Michael B. Jordan is my man crush. Like Mike just walks on water, so you might have to wrestle my grubby mitts from that poster this week.
Not a bother. Michael B. Jordan, of course, who plays Creed 2 in the film. Creed 2 as well.
Love that too.
Yeah, I love that.
He really brings the two to the role.
Yeah, but so stay tuned to find out how to win that. We'll also have the stars of the film, Dolph Lundgren and Tessa Thompson, on the show as well, along with Florian Munteanu. Yeah, let's go with that.
Good as attempt as any.
Even Drago's son. But before all that, it's time for this week's big question on the Big Reviewski. And for this week's big question on the Big Reviewski, it's over to Rory Cashin. What do you got?
Well, coming into summer, aren't we?
Wait, yeah. Actually, today is roasting. It's roasting.
Actually, yeah.
We're all going to die. Climate change.
Tight.
Yeah.
Captain Marvel, I guess, is the first of the big blockbusters of the year. We've got many more to come. But the thing I always associate with summer blockbusters is huge, kick-ass action set pieces. And you can't have a good set piece without a good explosion. So in the most basic level of action movie prowess, what is your favourite movie explosion of all time?
Okay, so I love this question, for starters, because it's like, you kind of say it to someone, it's like, it's so vague. It's like there's explosions in so many films.
And there's so many different types of explosions.
Michael
I was
Bay,
terrified you were going to do it own on it and be like, well, what about this emotional explosion they had? Like,
what about when Harry met Sally? What about that bit at the end where their emotions are exploding all over their faces?
Romance explosions.
Yeah, exactly. But
I'm single.
no, this actually turned out to be both surprisingly easy and kind of difficult as well, because immediately two popped into my head.
Oh, no, you have done it on.
I have done it on.
MacGruber.
And MacGruber wasn't one of them.
I thought it would be MacGruber.
And I sat there and I looked at both of them and I was like, which of these means more to me? And my God, they mean so much to me. Like in terms of the the age.
They so much to you.
No, the age you were whenever you saw it.
Yeah, well, like I can relate to that.
The impact of the whole film. So do you want the one I didn't pick, or do you want the one I just picked?
I want you to answer the question.
Okay. So the explosion. That is my favorite movie explosion. The explosion that means the most to me.
If this is emotional explosion, I will walk. I will out of here.
Schindler's List. It's not Schindler's List. I should have gone for Showgirls. Anyway, it's Independence Day.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So, but the reason, because I knew it was going to get like, all right, you went for that one, did you? So, yeah, obviously, out in 1996, I think it was like about 12 years old whenever this film came out, and I was just like, completely blew my mind. Jeff Goldblum, figuring out exactly what the aliens are up to. He has the countdown on. They rush him onto Air Force One, and then there's just that moment when he's like, "Time's up." And then all the people who think that the aliens are here for a bit of crack, it's like, no.
Yeah.
It was specifically the White House explosion moment,
right?
But we can take a little look at the clip here now. It's kind of running there in the background, but this is.
It's iconic.
Yeah,
the White House one obviously is
Roland
iconic.
Emmerich has been trying to make. They've just been doing that over and over again. He's built a career on it.
Problem with the Independence Day explosion. Now I love it.
The dog?
It's great. No, the dog's fine. Like I can get on board with the dog. That's fine. People seem to be able to outrun it. Like when you see later on, who's the stripper in the tunnel?
Oh,
is it Vivica Fox?
Yes, it is Vivica Fox.
She more or less outruns the explosion and gets into
an alcove.
That's right, the little thing.
That's fine. But then when Air Force One is taken off, 300 miles an hour, whatever it needs to be for a plane to take off, it barely makes it away from the explosion behind it.
Are you?
What speed is this explosion coming at?
Questioning the science of Independence Day.
I am.
Okay, the science where Jeff Goldblum on his absolute brick of a laptop figures out what the aliens are up to.
Computer.
Okay, you're worried about how fast the plane is going.
Look,
Let's go faster.
Okay, well let's take a little look at just one of the best explosions in movie history. This is Independence Day.
Time's up.
As I was saying, it's specifically, I know the Empire State Building is amazing, seeing that getting blown up and stuff as well, but specifically the White House thing, because do you remember the show Movies, Games and Videos?
Yes.
They used to be on, they had like a...
Behind the scenes. But I think I remember seeing that exact same thing.
The model, is it?
Yes.
About the making of the model of the... And I remember sitting there like on a Saturday afternoon.
Done, yeah.
Yeah, and they made it out of like woods and matchsticks and everything, and it was like 10 feet in size.
I know you're talking, but I keep looking at the explosion behind you on the screen.
Well, it's an amazing explosion. And that guy who our listeners won't be able to see on screen, but he plays Robin Williams' brother in Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah.
Harvey Fierstein.
And he's trying to get his mom to leave the city.
Yeah, and he's got the world's greatest voice. He's like, oh, crap. and then the White House just explodes in a helicopter.
The guy who, he's still in the office block. still doing filing.
Still working. Yeah.
And then he looks out the window, he's like, and you just see him
I've
be
wasted my
blown
life.
out the office. It's like, there's an alien ship like literally 10 feet outside your window and you're still filing?
It couldn't even send an email because there were probably no emails then either. Like, so what was he doing
Dial-up.
working
You were
there?
back in the dial-up days, yeah.
But yes, there's so many good things about that explosion because like all the alien motherships or the ships hovering over the landmarks, and one of the best jokes and only jokes in Independence Day Resurgence was whenever I think it's Jeff Goldblum says they like to get the landmarks. You're like, they certainly do. But there is office filer guy. Yeah, see you later. But yeah, so that was my one. 1996, Roland Emmerich, iconic explosion, Independence Day.
Fabulous
Good
choice.
show.
Thanks.
Fully
thanks.
behind it.
Paul, what did you go for?
See, I was very much like you. There was like 3 that instantly popped into my head.
I wonder if one of your other ones is the same as mine. But okay, go.
But I went for something that I saw in the cinema in my life, and the other 2 that were floating my head, I won't mention them. Die Hard and Predator. But it's not Die Hard or Predator. I went for what I think is the greatest battle
that you said other films.
greatest
My other
battle-
one was The Rock. How you doing?
in cinematic history to date, which is The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, when Helm's Deep needs to be breached. And Saruman, you see that little bit of him in Orthanc when he's meddling with this dark powder, you don't know what it is. And it's the only time when you kind of get that sense of explosion, and like Helm's Deep has never been breached, but like all good action, it's actually like rooted in the plot. Helm's Deep is so good because Jackson, like you never lose sight of the characters in it, and there's always like the moments of levity with like Legolas and Gimli, like how many counting the deaths and stuff like that. But this was just amazing. Legolas, like Aragorn's like, bring him down, and then there's that little kind of Saving Private Ryan moment when the sound just is sucked, and then you hear nothing, and then just a massive explosion that blows up everything. Then it cuts to Bernard Hill's face, who was Théoden.
Yep.
And he's just like, holy crap, like we're doomed now. So I love that explosion. And just in terms of mood and atmosphere, what Jackson did on Helm's Deep, like the build up to it was so agonizingly drawn out that you were so immersed in it for, I think it was like 45 minutes on screen.
It's a long battle
Yeah,
scene,
but it's done so
great,
well
yeah.
that there's different layers to it. You've got like the bow and arrows, you've got the close combat. And like you look at stuff like Game of Thrones, and now everything's stolen literally from that, I think. And just the explosion itself was stunningly done.
Okay, this is the explosion from Helm's Deep in The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. That's all really catchy. Just really just rolls off the tongue.
Is this it? Is this all you can conjure, Saruman?
Kind of missed the Lord of the Rings films, like as a Christmas tradition.
We were saying that was the thing after my exams at Christmas. It was like always on the Friday. So my last one was a Friday, and for 3 years running, it was Fellowship, Two Towers, and Return of the King. So that was always like good
treat
times.
yourself.
Good times.
Yeah. No, that's a brilliant explosion. I forgot about it. Even though the orc that's running along kind of looks like he has a giant sparkler just, but then
Yeah,
it's
he looks like he's running to start the Olympics.
here he comes, and then everybody
orc. He ruins
dies.
everyone's
Everybody
day.
dies.
He gets
yeah.
like pin cushions. Legolas puts like 3 arrows in him
He
and
does.
keeps
He
going.
does. And
And he has that like kamikaze jump. You see him coming there. He looks
committed to the cause. So, Rory, what did you go for? Did you also go for The Rock or Die Hard or Predator or Lord of the Rings or Independence Day?
Showgirls.
No,
Or Showgirls?
I had a different problem. I had the difficulty of choosing between 2 explosions from the same movie.
Oh, okay. Showgirls.
No. No, like this was probably the only explosion I've ever seen in a film that has caused nightmares for people around the world. Fiona
Yes.
cursed me for for having her look at it. while prepping for the show, and I totally understand why she's mad.
This is Fiona, who works in the show and like looks after all the visuals and the clips and everything as well.
Yeah,
so
she was unhappy with me.
She was not happy with
she
you.
was like, thanks for that. I was like, I'm sorry. It's
So what did you go for?
It is the nuclear explosion from Terminator 2. Probably the most realistic depiction of a nuclear explosion ever.
Yeah.
Because you see your hero, everyone ducks, covers, people grabbing their kids, and then she goes on fire.
Yeah.
And you still hear her screaming. And then the nuclear explosion wafts through what I think is LA.
Yeah.
And again, super realistic, the way it knocks buildings over. You see it kill everything. And then it just kind of washes through Sarah's image of herself minding young John Connor. And then herself, so she's just a skeleton holding onto a fence, still screaming. So I'm sorry, Fiona.
Lot of screaming.
For that. But yeah, like it's a horrific scene, but it is also one of those explosions where once you see, you're like, well.
Yeah. Anyone who was working in the Joe office, you would have known Fiona was working on this week's episode whenever you just heard like constant just screaming throughout the entire place. The bit that's really disturbing, I remember whenever I saw that, it's whenever it kind of has this like Vesuvius effect where it turns them to ash and stuff and they're all sitting there. And then they explode as well. It's like, come on. It's like they're already dead.
We're not done.
Yeah, we're not done here. It's like, let's make all the dead people explode as well.
Yeah, so I nearly went with the scene later on where they're in the Cyberdyne buildings and what's his name? Bill Cyberdyne? I can't remember his name is. But he's
Miles
like
something, isn't that his name? Miles something, yeah.
He's trying to hold the weight over the grenade.
Oh, yes.
And then just as everyone barely makes it out, he drops it and then it takes out the entire floor. That is an incredible, because that was actually done. That building was exploded for that scene while they were doing the stunts. But yeah, this one I think sticks in the mind more.
I like that you also picked multiple options as well.
Mine was the same film.
Still multiple explosions though.
Listen, if you both got to do it, it's so my question. So
out of our three answers, we collectively have 5, 6, 7 different answers. So a special shout out to Desperado as well.
Yeah,
nice. But yeah, if you have any favourite explosions, emotional or otherwise, from film, no, definitely not emotional.
Just keep those emotions
just big
to
explodey,
yourself.
fiery
Bottle
ones.
them up and don't talk about them. That's good advice, right?
Yeah, do let us know on Twitter at Big Reviewski and let us know on the Joe Instagram page as well. Now, it's been another cracking week for trailers again. And just before we come to film the show, they're always like, oh, you want another amazing trailer? There you go. So there are other ones that are out this week, like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which we're not going to discuss right now.
That is second.
But this one was released a few days ago, and I think it's still the #1 trending video on YouTube. We were already talking about Captain Marvel over the past couple of weeks, which you can go and see in Omniplex Cinemas, which I went to see in Omniplex in Derry over the weekend.
What do you think?
Do you know what? I liked it. The longer it went on, I grew to like it more and more and more. And Brie Larson is absolutely perfect in the role of Captain Marvel. I'm still scratching my head as to how they do the Samuel L. Jackson younger stuff, because it's actually flawless. I mean, the other bits where they've done it, Michael Douglas a little bit in Ant-Man, or yeah, whichever one it was, they had him for a little bit, and Robert Downey Jr., where they had him for maybe about like kind of 8-9 minutes. Yeah. Whereas this is just Samuel L. Jackson for the runtime of the film. It's brilliantly done. And I'm just looking at Ben Mendelsohn, who I love anyway, but looking at him in a whole new light as well. He is really, really excellent.
And the
soundtrack
is
the soundtrack is super. So no, really, really enjoyed it. But yes, it's only kind of the starter for the main course, which is coming up.
An even bigger course now. Fox been bought today.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But our trailer for this week is Avengers Endgame. So before we get discussing it, here's a little clip of the film.
I keep telling everybody they should move on. Some do, but not us.
Even if there's a small chance, we owe this to everyone who's not in this room to try.
We will. Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes. I like this one.
So Avengers Endgame, a lot of talking points about that. Actually, for people who are watching the show here today, you could just see one of the main talking points. Hawkeye 1 is back. Hawkeye 2 was away for the entire duration of Infinity War getting a really dodgy haircut, it seems.
It's a real breakup haircut. It's a decision he's made that I don't support.
But he's no longer Hawkeye, isn't he? Apparently.
Well, we'll see. This is all like speculation as to what way the Russo brothers are going to go with it. Well, firstly, do we like the trailer for Endgame? Because it's really close to release, because it's like the 24th, 25th of April that the film is coming out. So we're only a few weeks away from it. And they've kind of left it. Well, I mean, they had to wait until the release of Captain Marvel before dropping it.
Yeah, like they're clever because they'd said previously that they're not going to use any footage in the promotional materials that isn't within the first 20 minutes of the film.
Yeah, and that's insane because it seems like there's a lot of stuff.
Well, there isn't because the trailer is half a trailer and half a montage of, remember all this from before?
Yeah.
Which is clever because you're like, oh yeah, we actually have spent over a decade with these people. But yeah, I don't know. Like I have an article up on Joe where I am convinced there is a big fat lie in that trailer.
Yes, I read this. So you aren't convinced.
They lied before.
They did, because whenever Avengers Infinity War trailer came out, there was that money shot basically of Hulk like running along. She said Paul through Wakanda, and everyone was like, "Oh my God, Thanos is going to get beat up here." That is not what happened.
No.
And yes, of course. Bruce Banner, Mark Ruffalo was having some performance issues in the first film, and again, there's no Hulk here either.
No,
but the bit that you had a wee suspicion about.
Yeah, it's the final shot where you see them all in what I assume are quantum suits. What they use them for is still up for debate, but we see Nebula and Tony Stark in them. But if everything is from within the first 20 minutes, there's no way they've come from the depths of space, rejoined everyone, and are now in those suits. So I think they've done another head swap like they did with the Hulk.
Interesting.
And I think it's two other people, but you can read that on
I want somebody to do a head swap of just all Hawkeyes. Just everybody's got Hawkeye's
not
haircut.
even that. I want
everybody
I want the
Hawkeyes.
Hulk to have Hawkeye's hair.
See, for the release of Avengers Endgame, can we all get that haircut then? Can we all go for that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You go first.
The Mohawk guy?
And then
Okay.
I'll do that too.
The Mohawk guy.
Yeah.
He's Mohawk, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
the aging on Paul Rudd in this is flawless, by the way. Like,
every film,
yeah,
definitely. So Avengers Endgame coming out towards the end of
It'll
April.
make some money, I think.
It probably will. As I said, the trailer's been out since last week and is still number one in the on the YouTube trending.
Thor and Captain Marvel, right there.
Oh yes, yeah. At the very end, it's like the little post-credit sting on the
They're now
on the
putting
trailer
post-credit
itself.
stings on trailers.
Yeah. But Captain Marvel and Thor just having a little like kind of
unimpressed
flirty,
by his-
smirky moment.
You're moving in on your girl.
You know what?
Yeah.
That's fine.
You can take Chris Hemsworth.
You could
can
take Chris
him. You can
Hemsworth.
take him.
Take him where?
To our nice romantic dinner, seafood dinner. And
Here's
never call
Captain
him again.
Marvel. There you go. I'm just gonna go.
There's a lot of sadness in the trailer, and a lot of like.
Do you know what happened at the end of the
No,
last film,
I know,
right?
and their tagline for this one is "Whatever it takes." Whatever it takes. There's a lot of that kind of mantra coming through it as well. But no, I for one cannot wait to see it. So looking forward to
It's just you, is it?
just me. I don't know if you've heard about this little indie number
is a
that's
hot
coming
take.
out. Yeah.
Excited.
And where can you see it on?
It might have limited release in a couple of Omniplex cinemas, or it might be in every single screen of every single one. So yeah, looking forward to that. Now, as we said at the start of the show, we do have an amazing Creed 2 poster that we have managed to wrestle off Paul Moore. It is signed by the stars of the film. You got Michael B. Jordan,
Look at
Tessa
that beautiful
Thompson.
man.
I know, it's an
And he's cool
incredible,
as well.
incredible picture.
Unbelievably cool fella.
So you could have Michael B. Jordan up on your wall with him having scribbled over his own face or something.
Hopefully not.
And then Dolph Lundgren, Tessa Thompson, Florian Munteanu, and the director, Mr. Stephen Cable Jr. as well. So
remembered.
thank you very
I
much. Completely forgotten.
Yes.
But yeah, because we do have this amazing prize to give away, Rory actually caught up with the stars of the film as well, and you were chatting to Dolph and Florian. And Florian plays Drago Jr. He plays Drago 2, just like Michael B. Jordan plays Creed 2. And but you notice there were a lot of spooky kind of similarities between Dolph and Florian.
Yeah, because like Dolph, I don't think started off his life thinking he was going to be an actor, and I think the same could be said for Florian. Well, anyone who knows of his sportsing career would know that he is a huge man, and he gets paid a lot of money to hurt people in the face. So he obviously plays a good physical presence in the movie against someone of Michael B. Jordan's stature. So it's like, same with you back in the day, Ivan.
And Dolph, he was a big fan of this because he listed about 20 million other similarities. Here he is.
And also, we were 27 years old. I was 27 and he was 27.
Oh, wow.
We were both fighters. We both came from Europe. So there's a lot in common. It's crazy. It's scary.
A lot in common. Speaking of scary, that's the other thing you both have in common.
Yes.
You both have fantastic, scary stares
Yeah.
when you're in the middle of the fight.
Yes.
Like there was one point in this one in particular where you look back at someone and was like, oh my goodness, that's intimidating.
Yeah.
What place do you need to go to kind of focus on that kind of anger?
Well, I mean, some of it you have to. Usually, it comes from some kind of pain or something, so that it has some depth. Because if you try to play angry, you look like a WWF, wrestler. I hate you. I'm gonna. It's not. It becomes very shallow.
Yeah.
But I mean, in this story, it's a kind of a complex situation about fatherhood and fathers and sons, and a mother who's abandoned a son, and there's a lot of stuff going on there. In this film, and in Rocky IV, there was also something going on too for me, because I was kind of created by the Soviet state, and I didn't really like that. I was playing all kinds of other things too that I didn't like that. So, but it was like they would just push me out there like a machine. So it's a bit. I'm pushing him out. Eoghan pushes Victor out, like I was kind of used by the Soviet system. So there's so many parallels. It's a bit scary almost.
Yeah, for anybody who's looking at the footage there, you can see they are two giant men. What were they like in real life? Like physically imposing?
Yeah, like Florian is a large man. Like I think he's about 6'5" or 6'6". He's up there.
And the jumper's like 8 times too small for him as well. He's just like bursting out of it.
Yeah, it's like he needs to be lifted out of the chair because he can only stay in one position.
Jumper's painted on him. This is painted.
Just got to paint this wall on. Don't worry about it. But like he's a super nice guy, and I hope he does well because I actually thought he was quite decent in this for someone who isn't
the
really
scene
an
at
actor.
the dinner table was really good when Bridget Nielsen comes back in.
Yeah, but off the success of this one, I had to ask. I was like, has someone asked you about you getting your own one? Because we'd be interested in seeing what Russian Rocky is like your own thing in Russia. So this is what he had to say about that. If there was the opportunity at all for a Drago spin-off, would you say yes? Would you do it?
Well, let's say like this.
Okay.
There are some ideas going on, and we'll see.
That's nice and vague. Thank you very much. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thanks, buddy.
Well, from that you can definitely tell they're 100% making or most likely to make.
Like 99.9.
Like their faces, they
infinity.
smirk. They smirk for about half an hour, and they're like, "Ooh, do you want to tell him or will I tell him?"
Let's just not tell him exactly. But
no, we'd be fans of that though. If there's a brand new release focusing on the Dragos,
especially if it's good.
Yeah, 100%.
Definitely a fan then.
Definitely, always a fan. But the other star of the film, of course, is Tessa Thompson, who just over the past couple of years, the world has just like fallen in love with. Whether she's playing the Valkyrie in Thor Ragnarok, and people have been wondering, similar to like Hawkeye in Avengers: Infinity War, people are like,
and Korg,
and Korg as well. You know, where are they like the breakout stars of Ragnarok, and when are they going to come back into the MCU as well? And she's just a phenomenal talent, and she's just so lovely. But you were chatting to her because she seems very in control of what she wants to do in terms of the roles that she's picking as well. Yeah. And as you said to her, it's really easy in a boxing film for just not just individual characters, but the entire film to fall into like cliche after cliche after cliche.
Yeah.
But so how was she on that?
Yeah, she was good. She was like she as you said, she knows exactly what she wants to do, and I think the girlfriend or wife of a boxer ever since Rocky seems to have been the exact same in every film. Even like some of them can be great, like Amy Adams in The Fighter, and some of them are not. They just seem like the most rote, like cliched things, like you're not going to that ring, throw in the towel, blah blah blah. You've got kids at home. Whereas with this, it does feel a bit different, and it did feel that part of that was because it was Tessa playing it. So I was curious how much input she had on that.
Did you have a hand at all in trying to make sure Bianca didn't go down that?
I had I had all hands on deck. I had a lot of hands in that, yeah. It was important to me. We were, from the first film, Ryan Coogler and I had so many conversations about that. We really wanted to try as much as possible to buck convention in that space. So often women are tasked with, not just in boxing movies, but in movies in general. I won't say which, but I was watching a film last night on the plane where I was just like, man, women, we just show up in movies to we function to support the male character in ways we die for them, we live for them. It's just obnoxious, actually. And we wanted to do something different with her, so hopefully we try to do that.
And then just before, this is one of my favourite parts in the interview as well, because as we said, she is really, really lovely. But before you were finishing, she was just like, oh, here, I want to give a go at your really lovely, charming accent as well.
Yeah, no matter how good actors can be, the Irish accent is always the final hurdle.
Yeah,
you 99% of actors have fallen at that hurdle. It doesn't matter how good you are. You can't Kate Blanchett, and maybe that's it. There's some Irish actors who can't nail the Irish accent.
I know it's that thing in a film. Whenever you're watching, you're like, I can't tell. Are they actually Irish, or is it just somebody doing a really dodgy accent?
Yeah, it's where are you right now with your voice? But. She decided to take the challenge up, and I was like, oh, Tessa.
She couldn't help herself.
It's everyone wants to try, but not everyone's going to succeed. But this is her trying.
I have to say, your accent's so hard to do.
It is. Do you want to give it a go?
Just tell me something.
Well, we say 33 instead of 33. 33.
33.
That's pretty good.
What's your 33?
Yeah, 33 and a toad.
33 and a toad. And a turd?
Well, again, it's no age, so just go straight in.
Well, I need work. I need to brush up before I work.
We've got Liam and Ruth to help with the accent.
I know.
So no problem at all. Tessa, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
I think she did a damn fine job of an Irish accent there as well. Your Irish accent isn't too bad either, so congratulations.
Cheers. There's definitely been worse.
Definitely been worse. That's Creed 2. We do have that signed poster to give away, and keep an eye on Joe for some other very cool prize packs that we'll have up there as well on site.
And subscribe.
And
if you want
and subscribe. Keep subscribing. If you've already subscribed,
getting good
unsubscribe.
Get down your hands and knees and beg,
Unsubscribe and then subscribe again. I don't know if that works.
Yeah, it should.
It definitely doesn't. Subscribe on your phone and your mommy's phone, your daddy's phone, everybody's.
Anyone, if you're at the bar and there's some stranger left his phone down, just subscribe.
Just do that. So to win or be in with a chance of winning those very cool prizes, stay tuned for our competition High Clue. Non-controversial, of course, which is coming up later on the show. But now it's off to the cinemas. It's off to the cinemas for this
Plural?
week's big reviews. It's just the cinemas.
Omniplex cinemas.
Yeah, Omniplex cinemas. So, yes, the big release this week, the main one, is
White
Us. So close. Is Us from, as we were saying, the batshit, brilliantly bonkers mind of Jordan Peele, who wrote and directed, won an Oscar for Get Out. So Us is his brand new horror film. He did tweet the other day. He was like, Us is a horror film. This was my most highly anticipated film of 2019. And I think, Paul, we were chatting about, because we'll take a look at the trailer now in a second, but even the music and the way it's used in the trailer is brilliant.
I
And
got 5 on it. It's not the track.
that's the track, yeah, which is super. But he's managed to make it just sound really, really creepy, like really cool. R&B,
Brilliant
kind of
release
hip-hop track.
on Christmas Day. This trailer came out, which
Was
is
it
just
Christmas Day?
Christmas
Got
Day.
released. Holy moly.
Brilliant counter program.
So before we hear Paul's review of it, here's a little look at Us.
They look exactly like us. They think like us. They know where we are. We need to move and keep moving. They won't stop until they kill us. Or we kill them.
Be careful.
Okay, so this is this simultaneous thing where it's like unbelievably exciting and like, oh my God, am I going to be able to sit through this and watch it? Because I was completely freaked out and completely loved Get Out. But yeah, so what's Us about, first of all? It's completely separate from... Oh, Rory has a question. Rory has a question.
It's not even a question, it's a request.
Okay.
For maybe if people don't know anything about the trailer, because everything I've read so far from the reviews is Us would be slightly better if we'd not seen the trailer.
That's fair enough, because I think...
I know that's true of nearly
like
all
everything,
films,
There's
I'm
not an
delighted
awful
we
lot.
just showed everybody the trailer there
Yeah.
as well. Everybody.
There's not an awful lot given away. There's some of the stylistic shots, yes, but in terms of the plot, and it won't detract from your sensation of leaving the cinema, because you will think about this film an awful lot. I found it funny that you chose this as your film because Owen's a bit of a horror wuss.
Yeah.
And Peele is right to tweet that this is a horror. It is very, very leaning towards the horror vibes and the horror genre. But then again, it's not as easily identifiable as Get Out, which you can say is like a subversive take on racism in America. Us has got a lot of ideas going for it, but let's dive right in. Story follows, we start with a young family who are at a boardwalk, and the child, Addie, who's later played as a grown-up by Lupita Nyong'o, goes missing. She wanders into one of those freaky-ass hall of mirrors, and what you think is a reflection of her, because in the mirrors, isn't her. It's literally a other version of her from some alternate sort of universe or parallel thing. And then you flash forward, she has this kind of traumatic experience where she can't express what it was she experienced in this hall of mirrors. Her parents seek her to go to like therapy to like draw and art and dance just to express these trauma. But then as an adult, she returns to Santa Cruz, which is where it is. You see the beach there, and all these memories start coming back. And she's joined by her husband, by Washington Duke, who was in Black Panther, and
he was the muscle dude.
He's the other tribal leader.
Who wouldn't come with them.
That's right.
Very well cast, because he's actually kind of like a dweeby, modern kind of dad, kind of friend. Of the
unrecognisable.
kids.
I didn't put that together at all.
But he's very intimidating when you use the alter ego, which we get to now. That creepy ass shot we saw in the trailer of the family in the drive. Ultimately, this is when it really kicks off, because this crazy alter ego invasion comes in when everyone's sort of different character comes in, and it really turns into a horror film in the vein of, have you seen Funny Games?
Yeah.
It's exactly like that sense of like toying and creeping dread and menace, and the threat of violence hangs there so much so that you know something bad's going to happen. But Peele is so good at creating suspense and drama that when you think something's going to happen, he just draws it a little bit longer, a little bit longer, a little bit longer. Get Out, I think some horror fans were a bit put off by Get Out because it didn't have the blood, it didn't have the guts, it did have some unbelievably stylistic shots, and this is very prevalent in Us. It's stylish as hell. Like, it's beautiful to look at, but when it goes gory, it goes really gory, and it nails it. He actually is very good at mixing a lot of genres. There's parts of this feels like a home invasion horror, parts of it feels like psychological, like I mentioned, like Funny Games. But ultimately, he nails the horror parts. It is gory, but I just found at the end, there's a lot of ideas he throws at this, and I don't want to discuss it and give too much away, but there's a lot of stuff that's kind of feels like it's tacked on at the end. If you're looking for just a straight-up horror experience, it's great. If you want something that's a bit more thinking, there's something there as well. But I'm very curious to see what Peele's intention was, what he actually says when it's released, because I have a feeling there'll be like 1,000 think pieces about what he's trying to say. It is clever, but I don't know if I was just thick enough that I didn't follow everything that was going on. But I did leave the cinema and I was thinking an awful lot about it, which is always a good thing, regardless of a film. So if you're going just straight up for horror kicks, you'll be satisfied. If you want a bit more message whipped in there, there's some. But I just think they got a bit convoluted towards the end. In terms of performances, Lupita Nyong'o is as great as she always is. Like 12 Years a Slave, and even like Queen of Catway, she's never very good, but she has a real. You can see she kind of loves playing the doting mother of the family, but also flipping it on its head and going batshit bonkers.
She looks terrifying.
Oh, there's a bit in the trailer as her as the alter ego.
But they all do.
She's kind of like
and her face just isn't really moving.
I don't like that.
Kind of like really good horrors of the Omen and stuff like that. It does lead into kind of like religious subtext. So there's certain things you'll be googling after it, like certain passages and stuff. So it's clever in that sense. It's kind of. I know the story, I want to say. I don't want to even give you the religious story that it's referencing because that will give it away.
Yeah.
But it is grounded in there. But in terms of Peele, it's exactly what you think. There's the dark humour, there's the gags to break up the tension, there's pop culture references galore. It's beautiful to look at. And he's definitely right to say this is a horror. I think, Owen, you'll be scared out of your mind.
Yes.
But you will think about it. You will really think about it.
Because I loved Get Out. I think it's a great film. Didn't think it was scary at all.
No, neither
Not
did I.
in any way whatsoever.
So
yeah, me neither, lads. That's the three of us. The three of us definitely agree on that.
But they're like, like there was bits you see in the trailer for Get Out where the guy's running and then he just turns and then he turns and the lady's in the window of the house and they're all like kind of jump scares, but there was it felt like it was leaning harder to comedy rather than horror. So in this one he's leaning more into
very much
like
so,
it is actually. There's bits in it where you're like, I was scared.
These scissors are used. You do see.
Well, you see, this is
and
what I was
Elizabeth
wondering.
Moss is in there.
Yeah,
of course, yeah.
Actually, Elizabeth Moss is good casting. I'm not going to say which, but there's part of her persona takes more precedence than the other one you mightn't expect. She's really good in it.
Yeah. No, ever since the first poster was released, which kind of had the gloved hand against the red background, which is obviously one of the alter ego like jumpsuits, but just holding a pair of scissors, it was like, no, pointy scissors. This isn't going to
don't run with them.
You definitely like a bunch of flowers. Hold them like a bunch of flowers, will you?
I will be curious to see how it's taken though. I think like horror aficionados will love the gore. But I wonder, like, will the blow-ins be like, what the hell did the ending mean? You know, like, sort of like that.
Well, I think there definitely be more.
I think I'd be very curious to see if Peele actually says, well, this is what this meant.
Yeah.
But maybe it's not meant to be that. Maybe it's literally just to get people talking and kind of whatever people want to project onto it, that's what they can do. So I left the cinema. I'm still thinking about it, which is great. So I'll be very curious to see what everyone makes of it.
Definitely. Well, Get Out is still, or they've added it to lots of courses, like university courses and things in the States as well. So obviously his films just kind of, like a haiku, really, have those layers upon layers.
He's doing the Twilight Zone.
Are you comparing
the Twilight Zone?
Yeah.
Are you comparing an Oscar-winning movie being added to college syllabus to a haiku?
I certainly am. What did you call them? Film lasagnas? What are they called?
Hint lasagnas.
Hint lasagnas. That's it. So Us is out in cinemas now this week. So you can go and check it out in an Omniplex near you, and 100% going to be doing that. Okay, I'll not bring scissors to the cinema. That's
good advice. Generally.
Just generally don't.
That's the other advice. Don't run with scissors and don't bring
them to the
popcorn.
cinema. One of the other big releases this week is Ralph Fiennes. We should have done that, yeah, like all of us again. It's White Crow, directed by Ralph Fiennes.
I'm surprised you didn't want to talk about this one first and for more time, considering.
What do you mean we didn't really want to talk about? No, so what is it? It's Ralph Fiennes is focusing on the life of a young Russian dancer.
Rudolph Nureyev.
Rudolph did it. Nureyev.
Nureyev.
He's a world famous ballet dancer.
Apparently.
I know his life story inside out.
But like, Ralph Fiennes decided to learn Russian for this film. It's like, not only am I just going to direct a film, it's like I might as well get all Russian speakers for this, and I learn Russian to be in it as well.
Yeah.
Okay, class. It's like he's really using up that Voldemort money. So I got a lot of time in my hands.
Like, didn't he, a few years ago, he directed a Shakespeare adaptation, was it
Coriolanus?
Was it?
Maybe?
I think he was in it, was he?
Yeah, and it was like a modern day war setting
Serbia or something like that, wasn't it?
And it was all like in Shakespeare talk, but it was Jared Butler doing it. It was like, what? What?
Best CV ever.
Yeah.
So like he certainly has aspects of how he wants to make his films. Like he just like, I'll do what I want.
Yeah.
I'm in James Bond. I was in Harry Potter. I'll do what I want when I'm directing it. So yeah, he's doing a biopic of a famous bisexual ballet dancer, and I was like, oh, Black Swan, who is trying to escape the Russian government and defect. And I was like, oh, Red Sparrow.
Yeah.
And it has nothing of those two films where I was like, oh, this could be good.
So it's not Black Swan plus Red Sparrow equals White Crow.
No.
It's not that.
No.
Okay.
No.
Burgundy, if you're
I
expecting
know,
black,
it's like different colour.
It was, yeah, it's quite dull. It says on IMDb, and according to my watch, it was 2 hours and 7 minutes. But I'm convinced I'm still there.
Days later.
Just what was that? Never mind. The reference has gone from my own mind.
Showgirls?
No, like it's just it could have been good. Like it could have been good, but it just isn't. So
okay,
don't one Oscar Wilde, the one who made that Rupert Everett.
Oh, Rupert Everett.
Strikes me it's exactly that.
Yeah,
type
like
of
a
film.
passion project.
Yeah, more so than actually being interested in any way whatsoever.
Yeah,
okay.
like there definitely is an interesting story in there
to be told,
but this wasn't how it was told.
What's your list and your spoil for choice? As we say, Captain Marvel is still out in cinemas, and Us is released now as well. So they're probably like the best of the rest that are out at the moment. So go and check
Jacob's Ladder.
Is that what you were trying to think of? Jacob's Ladder. There it is.
Where he sees all the stuff. And he thinks loads of time has passed, but only a few seconds have passed.
That was you watching White Crow.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm still watching White Crow now.
Okay.
This is a hallucination.
Okay.
Jacob's Ladder.
Now it's time for our competition. As we said, you can win that very cool signed Creed 2 poster, and all you have to do to be in with the chance of winning is get the right answer to our high clue. It's that easy.
But also be one of the right answers that you pick. Because then everyone would get the poster.
Oh yeah, no. You like this is you to get in with a chance winning, and then you're randomly picked out
and subscribe.
And and you have to subscribe.
See?
Subscribe.
Yeah.
And go see the film in Omniplex.
And all of those things. There's
We're
quite a
following every
long
one
checklist. But yeah, so let's take a look at last week's competition high clue, and this was to win the signed Captain Marvel poster, which was signed by Brie Larson, Samuel L. Jackson, Jude Law, Lashana Lynch as well. So and the directors of the film. So it was Die Hard Orange Man, Barbaric Pencil Pushers, Sexual T-Rex. There were a lot of correct answers this week. Paul, I think you jumped in straight away last week. You were like, you got it.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I got it eventually, but I was convinced because it was a Captain Marvel poster, it was going to be an MCU movie. So I kept kind of squish the hints into a comic book movie, and I was like, but yeah, then eventually.
No, I didn't actually make the MCU connection, but yeah, as you said, Paul, it is Predator. So a lot of Predator fans out there. There was one guy had a brilliant tweet. It's like Predator, but it's not a film; it's a documentary, which I'm a fan of. Yes, Predator is a documentary. So the explanation for that one,
Justine?
possibly, but the Yes, so the third line, sexual T-Rex, that was probably the
Jesse
easiest
the Body
way.
Ventura.
Yeah, so for that famous quote, it's like, this stuff will make you a goddamn sexual Tyrannosaurus Rex. Or sexual Tyrannosaurus. Then barbaric pencil pushers. Barbaric was a reference to, the horrific deaths in it as well. But also, Arnold Schwarzenegger plays Conan the Barbarian. And then he calls Dylan, who's like, what have they got you doing? Pushing too many
Creed's
pencils?
daddy.
Creed's daddy, of course. So that was the pencil pusher reference. And then the first line was Die Hard Orange Man. Die Hard was a reference to John McTiernan, who's the director of Die Hard and the director of Predator. And Orange Man was Dutch, who is Arnold Schwarzenegger's character.
Dutch.
Yeah.
I thought it was because the Predator seen him as orange in the infrared thing.
There you go. Hint lasagna.
Hint lasagna. I was like,
you see?
Another layer in this lasagna.
Every time Jordan Peele write this high clue and win an Oscar for it.
Show this high clue in colleges in America.
Yeah. So Die Hard Orange Man, Barbaric Pencil Pushers, Sexual T-Rex, Predator. So was that okay compared to like the previous ones?
Infinitely.
Okay, yes, happy days.
It was a bit easier. Yeah.
Okay, so now it's time for this week's competition.
Now, do you think this week's one is easier?
I think this one is more
easier than this one?
Yeah, I'd say they're in the right.
So you went from really hard to really easy. So this is going to be somewhere in the middle, I'd imagine.
Here we go. Titanic action.
I have it.
Zool is royally angry.
Yep.
Mostly nocturnal.
It's written for me.
So we'll do a syllable check. Titanic action, 5 syllables. Zool is royally angry, 7. Mostly nocturnal, 5. So we got 5, 7, 5. Rory says it's for him. If you know Rory's love of films, then maybe you can hazard a guess at it. But happy enough with that one then? Okay,
yeah.
That's yeah, you're excited. So yes, as we said, if you let us know on Twitter, on Instagram, we'll put them up there as well. This will also be up on Joe on the website, and you could be in with a chance of winning the Creed 2 poster. And I want to say a big congratulations to all the people who got the correct answer. Yeah, congratulations.
There we go.
But there can only be one winner.
It's like Highlander. There can only be one.
There can only be one winner of the Captain Marvel poster. So congratulations to Stephen Donnan, who got Predator as the right answer last week. Fair play to you. We'll have some backup prizes for other people as well.
That haven't been kissed by me.
That have not been kissed or touched or grubbied by Rory Cashin. So that's everything for this week. Busy.
You sure?
I'm thinking coming soon. Up on the show next week, we have none other than Son of Era, Colin Farrell. And his brand new film, Dumbo, which all I want to talk about is Danny DeVito, because he plays Frank
remakes Disney of the caption.
Exactly. So we're going to have Rory's full review of Dumbo and your chat with Colin Farrell, which hasn't happened just yet.
No.
But it's going to happen.
Yes, between now and this time next week, I will have spoken to Cuddle.
Are you going to call him, how do you say his name?
Cuddle Faddle.
And are you going to call him that?
Probably not.
Probably not. Okay.
I can't see him.
Just a blank interview. It's just like
react
awkward
well.
silence.
Are you excited to talk?
Yeah, he's a great actor. Yeah, the last time I spoke to him was Killing for the Sake of Deer. And he's a gent. And he hasn't done blockbuster stuff in a while now. So I think this is his first big budget film to come back to.
Last one? Fright Night, maybe?
Jeekers, that was a long time.
Even that was
well.
cheap enough, I'd say.
Save Mr. Banks. Probably that wasn't a big
Banks with Disney there as well.
Save with Total Recall, maybe.
Yeah, but this, you're right in terms of as part of the big revamp of live action Disney films. This is
first of 3 this year.
Oh, that's right, because we said
Aladdin and Lion King.
Aladdin and Lion King as well. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it goes. Right, Rory, Paul, as ever, thank you. Good luck on your
wearing navy as well. Just
I know we are all matching this week.
We're going to be matching next week.
That's us.
We're going to get sued every week.
Thanks a million for subscribing, everybody. Do pass on the word to other people as well. Big thank you to Shane and Fiona, who work behind the scenes of the show.
Sorry,
and
Fiona.
Ian.
For the trauma, the Terminator 2
Yeah,
trauma.
actually, I wonder, Ian, Shane and Fiona, I wonder if they subscribed. We're going to check their phones. That's what we'll do. Yeah, and we'll see you next week. Okay. Bye-bye. Shafter.